to you all! Friday has landed once again, and it is going to be a weekend of weekends, my friends. I cannot wait. My family returns tonight. I've got a lovely announcement for you guys on Monday. There will be a reminder, there is no stream on Monday. There is no stream, and we will be letting you know why. Sort of late Monday, probably like 7-8 p.m. my time, something like that is when we will let you know what the hell is going on next week. There's some big stuff going on. It's going to be pretty good. It's not an XCOM announcement. It's not that. But we'll let you know then. Something we've been working on for the past couple of months. And very excited for it. Very excited. It's been a stressful week. We had a late start today while we got ourselves all prepared. And all those kinds of things. So it's going to be good. Stop teasing. Well, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited. I'm doing something that's never been done before. And that is great. That is wonderful. And it's all thanks to you guys and being able to put us in a position where we can do these things. You got to be busy doing Necopara mocap. I wish. I think some bucket list things I would like to do is do a voice in a video game, stuff like that. Not there yet, but maybe one day. Maybe one day make something good. It's very exciting. Got to hand it to you. Yes, if you're wondering why there's so many hand jokes for our YouTube audience, there's the stream started as drama time kicked off there. That is because we have been playing through not only Final Fantasy XIV's new dungeon content and Hildebrand stuff, especially the variant dungeons. That was my big plan for the new patch, was actually the variant dungeons over the hard stuff, although the hard stuff is really fun. We have defeated the mouse, and we're going to be doing some more of that very soon and get Arse finished, and then Arse Savage. But my first thing I wanted to do is the variant dungeons. This idea of non-linear dungeons where you can pick and choose your routes and your pathways. 12 possible endings that came from that. We did them all. We think we got world first. It's probably not, but at least stream-wise, I think we did, which was super fun. What an exciting week. But we've also dipped our toe back into Final Fantasy VIII, which is... I can't wait to do a video on it, honestly. But there's so much random, bizarre, nonsensical stuff in that game that I'm never going to be able to cover it all without literally retelling every inch of the story, which I don't want to do. I have no idea how I'll pick and choose when it comes to discussing that game, which bits to talk about. I don't know. I really don't know. It's almost like a mammoth, mountainous challenge to try and pick and choose what bits you can even consider. Like, the devs of that game really decided to go all out and just let loose. Like, they had no restrictions. They had nobody there to tell them maybe that's a bad idea. And they just put everything in there that they could possibly think of. It's a very charming game. I'm still on the fence about whether it's a good game. I don't know. I'm not even sure I'd recommend it to somebody. I really don't know. But that is the scenario we were in. Got to hand it to the devs? Yes. Yeah. For the reference there, we just did a chain quest for probably the last 40 minutes. A fetch quest of hidden items that were just located with the most random clues ever, which resulted in seeing... The reward was to see the open hand of an NPC. That was the reward that we received for doing that. And it's not over. We're on disc 2 of 4, I believe. There are 4 discs to that game. So, yeah. But I'm still excited to go back into it. I'm still very excited to get back into it. So, yeah, like, it's a game that you kind of can't put down. You want to know what's happening next. Like, that's the thing about it, is no matter how weird it gets, you want to know more. Which is wonderful. So let's have some drama for today. Obviously, around the world, for several years now, you guys have been sending us... You okay? Cozy? Yeah? Just let me know if I'm bothering you. Yeah, you just let me know. Look, just let me know if I'm bothering you. No problem, pal. Just let me know. We do have Ben with us today. This will be the last time you see Ben for a while. On stream, at least. It will be the last time that you see our boy. He is going to be staying at home for a little while after today, because my family is returning. Did not want to leave Ben at home all day on his own. So this is the last. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's the last time you'll get to see him for a little while. But Bex, our lovely lady Bex, has provided several stories for us today to finish up our week. So let's have some fun. This one's called a ghostly tank, a short one. Bex's description is short, but you just won't believe it until you hear it. Okay. Let's see how it goes. But if you do have a drama story to send in, if somebody's done something weird, or perhaps you have, drama time started with me airing my dirty laundry. I was, of course, the first person to go with telling our tales. Then send them in to drama@preachgaming.com, and we'll see how you go and see if they're good. A ghostly tank with Moondog will be our friend. Hey, Preacher, in the all-knowing, all-seeing chat, I come to you with a little short tale from a +9 Junkyard Mythic Plus key in that World of Warcraft. Okay, +9 Junkyard. I had just returned from a long break starting in the second season of Shadowlands, with the game being a drag and work meaning I had no time for raids. It just sucked all the fun out of the game. But I then changed jobs, giving me the opportunity to raid once more. So, knock, knock, knock. Welcome back. I got a new guild and a new enjoyment for Mythic Plus, and I pushed more than I ever had before. On to the story then. The dungeon began normally. We zoned into the instance and had a little casual conversation beforehand. The tank, a Blood Death Knight named Moondog, who rode a Dreadwing, mentioned his choice of Covenants, Venthia. Really putting out of this My Chemical Romance, it's not a phase mom vibe. I played Venthia because I associate with the vampires. He then went on to state, I don't follow the meta. I make my own choices. I almost cut my own fingers on the edge of Moondog. As I said before, however, he's not actually the issue. Not really. We followed the Moondog through the trash, getting to the Gunker, the beginning of the issue. The boss went over smoothly, but Moondog complained of high ping. He said he was seeing 700 MS. I imagine it's hard to tank a dungeon with such high ping. I wouldn't know. I'm just a filthy demon hunter with 3-button rotation, and the internet doesn't even seem to matter for me to play at my max level. Fair enough. Moondog went on to say, guys, do you mind if I relog really quick? I mean, the clock is ticking, but sure. But we waited for him to log back in. We cleared some trash while waiting for the next boss, where out of nowhere, the boss is pulled. My deadly boss mod says Moondog first hit. How? I checked the map and Moondog is still over at the previous boss. We moved over to the boss, killed it, and we saw more packs getting pulled by nobody. The group began to talk. Is he here? Is the tank back? The map says he's at boss 1. It was, of course, obvious what had happened. A bug made our tank invisible. Now, this presented a problem because not even markers would work on him. As you can imagine, it became very difficult to follow the tank's route, considering he couldn't be seen. And if you don't know, or you play FF14 or something, the Junkyard Dungeon is very open plan. I can only imagine the heart attack that the healer had trying to get the tank quickly enough to top him up once he had pulled something so he knew where he was. The entire dungeon followed this pattern. We killed a pack and then we'd all stop. Look around. Wait for some other enemies to start attacking something. Then we knew where we could go. Then we'd run over, kill them, and then wait. Pause. What's he gonna pull next? Now, we rallied to the final boss easily enough. I did die on the intermission phase, but in my defense, I'm a demon hunter. So we cleared the dungeon and got a +2. It would have been easily a +3 if the tank was not a ghost. The group shared a few words about how weird this all had been until the chat was flooded with messages from our Spectre all at once. DC, 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 sorry, thanks, DC, 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 kill boss, DC, 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 kill boss, thanks, DC, DC, sorry. I read the chat. And then opened my bags. And Hearthstoned. With no loot, so those messages must have been a while ago. I just thought this entire thing was a little strange, a little funny. I needed to share with you. I know literally no one who plays this game, so I wanted Preach and Chat to understand the ghostly tale of our junkyard run. Thank you for giving me a little story to share with you, and I hope it brightens up your Friday. I have never seen an invisible tank. I have never seen that. I have seen some weird bugs. I have never seen a character become completely invisible. Dramas of... You have? You've had this experience before? I've never had it. Also, would it not be fixed by relogging again? That seems better than... Oh my god, there's loads of people in this. Bex says this is a hilarious story. Okay. Let's see. Jimmy. It's Jimmy Scene, but there we go. Lodge. Oh. Hanats. Hanats is in here. Good. BC. Dylan. Of course, all our names are taken from our website supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because it allows us to do some cool shit. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, we've got Rob, Jimmy, Lodge, Hanats, BC, Dylan, Mad Payfish is joining this one. Okay. Breacher, greetings, and greetings to your wonderful audience. Today, I bring you the story that took place in a now mostly forgotten MMORPG. The game was Rift. Also known, aka, as Discount World of Warcraft. I never played Rift. It looked kind of fun, but it also looked kind of the same as WoW. So I was like, I don't really want to get back into... I don't want to really do WoW again. Not Runes of Magic. Rift was great. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, every time I see another, like, hotkeyed MMO, I'm just like, ugh, I can't be fucking bothered, man. I'm not doing it again. I quit WoW soon after the release of Cataclysm. I tried to get into other MMOs, and eventually I saw that trailer for Rift, an upcoming MMO from some of the people who created WoW. The game looked great, so much better than WoW, and it was because the gameplay seemed familiar that I was drawn to it, exactly the reason I did not play it. And after playing the beta, I was hooked. I decided to jump in. After playing for some time, getting used to things, I joined a guild, made some friends. However, we had a little problem. Our guild, as I came to realize, was nothing short of a glorified chat channel. You would request messages. Anyone for help? Anyone want to join in for an activity of some kind? Nobody ever responded. No one ever bothered to answer questions. Even if you were just looking for something simple, no one was there. We decided we would just leave and do the honorable thing of making our own guild for our own adventures. One where we would all work together in harmony and utopia, where we would worship at the altar of progress. We would become a single unit and help everyone. After we made our... Oh, we need a guild name. Chat, quick. Quick. Chat, we need a guild name. Really, a Rift guild name. That's the thing. Crawlers, the Holy Hands, the Helpers, the Hands, the Handies. Okay, I see the theme. the Handies. After we made our guild the Handies... That sounds like they give hand jobs in the streets. I'm just saying, that sounds exactly like they give hand jobs in the street. I don't like the handies. We started to recruit people. I talked to every potential recruit. Oh, yeah. I explained what the handies was all about. We told them that people were expected to help other guildies in whatever capacity they could. The handies was not just a chat channel with the sole purpose of socializing. We expected members of the Handies to put in some good, rugged work right into it, and told them if all they wanted to do was chat, they were better off in a different guild. All of the people I recruited understood what I meant and told me it was exactly the kind of guild they were looking for. We got a few dozen members, after a couple of weeks, and we started helping the lower levels to get max level, which at the time was level 50. When they got to 50, we taught them how to do expert dungeons, teaching them all of the boss mechanics that we knew and told them where to find builds to min-max their classes. The day we got over 13 level 50s in our guild, we had a meeting. It was time to discuss raiding, getting serious. Some items, some epic quality items could be crafted, but the materials required to craft them were very, very rare drops from expert dungeons. But there was another way, an alternative pathway to obtain them. A battle content known as crafting rifts. In this game, every area spawned something called tears, which after a few minutes of spawning would open and become rifts. And they spawned wave after wave of enemies. Killing all the enemies spawned by a rift would award players with a currency called Planarite, which was used to purchase certain items. Players didn't need to wait for a tear to turn into a rift. They could force them open using an ability called Planar Law. Crafting rifts worked in a similar way. Players who maxed a crafting profession would get access to a weekly crafting quest for their profession, which required players to craft an item and turn it in. And the reward for turning this in was one of these rift laws of that profession. And it was used. For example, completing a weekly armorsmith quest would award the player with a rift law armorsmith. Players could use these laws on any tears in the world to turn them into crafting rifts. And they played similar to the regular wave spawns, but the rewards would be crafting materials for that specific profession, and the higher the level of the tear, the higher the tier of the materials. So of course, it was best to go and turn all those normal rifts at level 50 into level 50 crafting ones. The rewards were given in the form of personal loot, so we would invite as many people as possible to increase the amount of stuff that we would get for doing them. We told the guild that we were serious, my friends. We were going to make a schedule. Crafting rift runs on schedule so we could get all the materials we could possibly get to make everyone in the team epic gear. However, we made things very clear on the rules. All materials obtained from crafting rifts belonged to the guild and not to you. Members were allowed to keep as many materials as they needed for their gear, but they had to give the rest of the materials to the guild. The rarest material was the most important, as it was needed for every single epic item, an item called a minor catalyst. We made it clear. We told the members that we would distribute all materials to everybody. You're all going to get a piece of the pie so that people don't need to worry about having bad luck with drops. Which is why it was very, very important that members turned in all the materials they didn't need. Okay? Don't be greedy. Share with your fellow man. Okay? And we all benefit. Don't go and sell them. Don't do that. Share. Sharing. Only a few members of our guild had maxed professions, so we could usually only do about 6 or 7 crafting rifts a week. And despite things going slower than we had hoped for, people were respecting the rules. They were turning in all the materials they didn't need. Or at least, I thought they were. Enter Rab, one of our members. Rab was old school, an OG, and he was always participating in the crafting rifts. One day, in our guild chat, Rab asked if anyone knew how to earn platinum, which is the equivalent of gold in World of Warcraft, or gil in Final Fantasy XIV. He couldn't afford to buy his epic mount. Sag. He said that he spent most of his platinum to buy a rare mount. I, being someone who was trying to build utopia, had written a guide on making money on our website. So I told him, hey, why don't you head over to thehandyjobs.com and read our guide. A couple of days later, some of our members were asking if anybody had any minor catalysts they didn't need because they hadn't had any luck in getting them to drop. We asked if anybody had any, but no response. No one said a thing. Just silence. So I told them nobody's got any, because if they did, they would have turned them in under the fair sharing is caring rules of our guild. I told them to just wait until the next day for the weekly reset for the next round of crafting rifts to see if anyone would get lucky and get some for them. Well, the weekly reset happened and we obtained more crafting laws and decided to start forming another raid group for the crafting rift run, and as usual, Rab shows up. However, he was riding an epic mount this time. He was on comms with us, and another member noticed his mount and said, Rab, bro, you got your epic mount? Rab replied, not just one. I have 2. And then pulled out his second epic mount. I thought that was strange, because just a few days earlier he had said he spent most of his platinum to buy a rare mount, which cost 35 platinum. And now, somehow, he had heard enough to buy 2 epic mounts, which cost 125 platinum each. Everyone was full of questions. Rab, mate. How did you make 250 platinum in a couple of days? Rab, as cool as a fucking cucumber. As cold as ice. I've been selling some things. Like what? Was the obvious question we started to ask. Like what? You know, some crafting materials and stuff. Crafting materials? Rab? Have you been selling the materials from the guild crafting rifts? No. I picked 3 gathering professions instead of crafting ones. So I gather a lot of stuff. And I sell it. Oh. That was bullshit, of course. I, the author, was one of the richest players in the server, and I knew there is no fucking way you can gather enough to make that much in a couple of days. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. After our crafting rift run ended, I waited a few minutes. And then I went to the auction house and I searched for minor catalysts. And there, of course, I found my answer. 4! 4 of them at 70 platinum apiece being sold by Rab. So I jump on comms with my co-leader, Jimmy Scene. Jimmy! I told him I was going to kick Rab out of the guild. Why? And I explained the situation. Rab is stealing from the other members who are helping him out. He went to the auction house to check for himself and told me to give the guy a chance to hand them over. Perhaps he just got greedy. Perhaps he just saw platinum in the headlights. Perhaps he didn't know that he was supposed to give them to the guild. Why don't I send out a reminder to all members about materials? Why don't I just do something before kicking him? Well, against my better judgment, I decided to do just that. I put out a guild message to everybody in the guild chat. Whatever materials they need for the gear, you can keep. Anything that's excess, send it to the guild, especially minor catalysts. Because a few of our members still didn't have theirs, although they've been taking part in the rifts. After that, I told Jimmy that I was giving Rab 24 hours to hand over the materials, otherwise he was gone. 30 minutes later, just 30 minutes, Jimmy reaches out to me. Okay, I've changed my fucking mind. Rab has to go. He just relisted the same items for now 100 platinum instead of 75. Fuck that guy. But before you kick him out, let me explain to him why he's getting kicked. And after that, then you can kick him. Rab made a power play. I'm busted. This is the last time I'll get to do this. I'm going to make as much money as I can. You got to admire the doubling down here of Rab. He's like, ah, fuck, I've been busted. Jimmy asked Rab to get on comms because he needed to talk to him. So, Rab does. Cool as a cucumber, unflinching. Like fucking stone. And asked him what was going on with this selling of crafting materials. Jimmy started it with, dude, there's no easy way to say this, so here it goes. You're being kicked out of the guild. Moi? Rab said. But why? Jimmy told him that it was because he had broken the trust of the guild. What? Break your trust? But what did I do wrong? I'm very confused. Jimmy said, you've been selling the materials from the crafting rifts, despite us telling you those materials belong to the guild. They're not for personal profit. You don't even provide a lore for them. You're basically just leeching for your own gain, and then you're not even using the money to get gear. You're spending it on mounts you don't even need. You said that I could keep the ones I needed for my gear. And I haven't made my gear yet. Man's got a point. Oh, you fucker. Loophole. About hearing this, none of us could really reply. It was a cheap shot, but he was right. He hadn't made his gear yet. We didn't know what to say, but then Rab piped up. If I hand over the catalysts, can I stay? No. It's not just the ones you're selling, it's the ones you've sold before, on top of all the other stuff. You bought those mounts by selling our catalysts and then flashed what you bought with it in front of everybody. You must have sold around 3 or 4 and all the rest of the materials that we got from doing the rifts. Rab went silent for a few minutes. How about this? Suppose I give you the catalyst back. And some money. I will give you all the catalysts back and say 300 platinum as compensation. Dude, it's not my call. I didn't put you on the chopping block. You'll have to talk to the author. He's the one who found out you've been doing this. I was in the channel listening to everything, but hadn't said a word. Rab simply called me. Lodge. Lodge. Are you there? But I didn't reply. Lodge, can you hear me? I remained silent because Rab, in my eyes, was fucking dead to me. And I don't talk to dead people. Oh my God. You fucking coward. You fucking coward. Do not Giga Chad that. That's just fucking pussying out of talking to him. Jimmy said I probably didn't have my headset on, so he told him to message me in game instead. So I received the message in game in text. Lodge, dearest Lodge, I am so sorry about what I did. You must understand. Fuck this guy. Oh my God. You must understand. I really, really wanted an epic mount. And I didn't know how to make enough platinum to buy one myself. I followed your guide, but it just was taking too long. I'm really sorry I broke the trust of the guild. I didn't think you would find out. So please, let me stay. And you must understand. Look, officer, you must understand. I just didn't think you'd find out. So how am I to blame for this? You really must understand that I really, really wanted what I stole. And I really didn't think you would find out about it. So, as far as I can tell, I'm innocent in all this. Please don't kick me out. If you let me stay, I'll earn 300 platinum for you and hand over the catalysts. I don't have many friends, and this is the only place where I talk to people. I fear that if you kick me out, I'll never have a friend again. I'll have no one to talk to or play with. I am very, very sorry, so please let me stay. Please. But like I said, Rab was dead to me, and I can't play with dead people. Right? I don't play with dead people. So without a second thought, I kicked him out of the guild. He sent me another message begging me to let him come back, but I put him on the big ignore. Afterwards, some of the members were shocked that I had kicked someone out of the guild. What were we becoming? Were we the villains? They thought if I had done it, it's because he had fucked up bad. So I talked to the guild. I told him, guys, behold, listen, we made it very clear from the beginning. This guild, the Handies, is all about teamwork. We made it very clear that all the materials from the crafting riff runs belonged to the guild, not to the person. We made it easy. You take what you need, and then you hand over the rest. It's that simple. Rab never handed over any of his materials. He had been selling all of them to buy epic mounts. He sold at least 3 minor catalysts, friends. Tried to sell another 4 and sold all of the other materials he got. He never provided one single crafting lore for any of the runs. He used our laws. He used our guild for his own personal gain. We have no place for members like that here. And if any of you feel the same way, feel free to leave and save me the trouble of finding out and kicking you later. No one left. In fact, some people were pissed off that he had obtained at least 7 catalysts while they haven't even had a single drop. A sad result, a few days later, Rab deleted his character. And after this drama was over, we continued working towards our goal. Our mission, still clear. get everybody in our team raid ready. We recruited more people into the guild, all level 50s this time, including a healer named BC, who was dog shit, and her best friend, Hanats, who was paranoid about internet pedophiles, despite playing an MMO with so-called internet people himself. Everyone's a fucking pedophile. They're everywhere, these internet people. They're everywhere. Once we started to get closer to 20 raiders, things started to go downhill. There was just too many people. I logged in one day to find out that 2 of my newest raiders had just left. I messaged them to ask what happened, and they told me that a player named Nashays had messaged them and offered them a raid spot in their guild. I told them that they had raid spots in our guild, and were about to start raiding. All we needed were 2 more raiders who were geared, but they said that they just wanted to raid today and not next week. Yeah, but I want to raid now. So, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do about it. I want to raid this week. You guys are raiding next week. So, I honestly don't see how we're going to fix the situation at this point. I really don't. Soon after this, 2 other raiders left for the same reason. Same player, this Nashays, had messaged them with the same promise. A day after this, BC told me that she and Hanats were thinking about leaving the guild for another one. I said, let me guess. A player named Nashays messaged you and offered you a spot in their guild. Well, yes, actually. And that Hanats wanted to leave because he was afraid of us. Hanats wanted... This is possibly one of the worst crimes imaginable in the MMO world. And I'm sorry your ears may have to hear this, okay? I'm sorry. Hanats wanted to leave because he had become afraid of us. He had noticed that BC, his friends, and I had become Facebook friends. He now believed that I was going to find out where BC and Hanats lived, turn up at their house, or I'd turn out to be some sort of serial killer and I'd kill them both. Otherwise, why would I want to be Facebook friends with somebody that I met in a game? Kind of true. Kind of true. Imagine if they had a Facebook group. Can you imagine? Whoa, what is this? Some sort of cartel? Is that what's going on? I don't know. I talked to my co-leaders, Jimmy and Mad Payfish, about what the hell was going on. It looked like Nashays was messaging everyone in our guild and promising them raid spots if they left. That we had just lost 4 raiders and were about to lose another 2. Not to mention others who were already getting very impatient because they were waiting for the raid to start and raiders were leaving. I tried to explain to the guild that the reason it was difficult to find raiders because our server opened a few months after the launch of the game, so our server was behind everyone else. Not a single guild on our server was raiding yet. I told Jimmy and Payfish that I was going to have a word with this Nashays character and see if we could arrange something where we could maybe just team up instead of stealing each other's players. My officers agreed to the parley. So I sent a message to Nashays, asking her if we could talk about our raiders. Her response was simple. Are you going to accuse me of poaching your members or something? I replied, there's no doubt that you have been poaching my members, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about us, like, coming together to raid. What do you mean? So I said, look, why, instead of stealing each other's members and whispering and doing all that stuff, why don't your guild and my guild just raid together? Since all of our members were very impatient about it and waiting to get started. There's no way we would allow gear earned in a raid to go to another guild. But... oh, we need guild name 2. Guild name 2 for Nashays Guild. Who is this minx, this concubine, this succubus? Not Rab. The poachers, the big game hunters, the swindlers. Oh, God, I like that. The Moombas. Yeah, that's pretty good. The feats. Yeah, we'll go with the feats, actually. We got the handies and the feats trying to work together. The feats. There's no way we'd allow gear earned in a raid to go to another guild. But if you agree to bring your raiders to the feats, then that is a different story. I told her I'd need to discuss that with my co-leaders. So I went back to Jimmy and Payfish. They weren't too happy about Nashe's wanting to have full control over our members. But, like, we really do want to raid, so... we just didn't want to see more members leave, have to rebuild, see them leave, so... As a council, we decided to agree. We would let the feats absorb the hands. I reached out to Nashe's again and told her that my co-leaders had agreed. Oh, just so you understand, if the handies join the featies, you'll be my members. You'll no longer be the handies. I don't like cliques, so if you come here, I don't want you acting like some big shots within my guild. I agreed. No problem. I don't want that either. That sounds terrible. No worries. And we started transferring our members over. All but 2 of my members agreed to come. The 2 that refused said they'd been in a guild with Nashe's before she had made the featies. And they didn't like her or the company she kept. They told me that if I wasn't leading the guild, they wouldn't be under Nashe. I apologized, of course, since I knew they were very happy in the handies. But apparently, many of my members cared more about raiding than being in a good guild. And so off we went. We joined the featies and became official toes. Things were different there. You could feel it straight away. It was a different atmosphere. When we joined, nobody welcomed us. Instead, Nashe's first stated the rules of the guild. She made it explicitly clear that she hated drama and wouldn't hesitate to remove anybody who caused drama. She didn't give me or any of my co-leaders any officer position. She only gave me an honorary position that was no different than Member Plus. I didn't care about it. It's not something we negotiated. But it was clear she didn't want us to have any form of power or authority within her guild. Soon after joining, Nashe's asked if there were any DPS interested in an expert dungeon run. I'll go. I was trying to show her that we weren't a threat. We wanted to join into the raid. We are friendly. We're making a guild here. I get invited. Upon entering the dungeon, Nashe's asked her friend and officer to wait before pulling. And then she turned to me. Lodge, dearest Lodge. You do know an epic 2-handed mace drops from the last boss of this dungeon, right? Yeah, of course. She asked me if I had it. I said no. She said, oh, is that right? So, are we going to have a problem about it? Problem? What do you mean? I don't understand. What problem? Well, I don't have the mace. You don't have the mace either. It looks to me like that could become a problem. I tried to explain. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She said, I want the mace. If you roll on it, that is going to be a problem. Do you understand now? I told her that I knew it was a healer mace. And I don't play a healer. So, why would I... What? What are you talking about? And she just said, very well. I hope you don't roll on it if it drops. I would hate to have some kind of problem on the first day. After this, I made a mental note to myself not to do dungeons with Nashes again. It just seemed unnecessarily hostile. I decided to continue running dungeons with my dudes. The friendly dudes. The good dudes. But one day, only 4 were online at a time and we needed a DPS. I asked in the guild, anybody want to do some deeps in an expert dungeon? And one of Nashe's officers, a woman named Dylan, asked for an invite. Unlike Nashe's, Dylan was so fucking nice. She was awesome. She got on comms with us. After our run, she told us that if we ever needed a damage dealer, she would be happy to come. After this, Dylan and I started talking regularly in game and on comms, and we became good friends. She fit. She was a handy, not a featy. It was clear. One day we needed another DPS for our group, and Dylan suggested that we invite her friend, Doable Sandman? That's not on the list. Another one of Nashe's officers. She told us he was a baller. Although he was very quiet, we invited him and got the only expert dungeon that we had ever done. I told the group that I had never tanked that dungeon, and Doable Sandman said that it was no problem. He would explain all the mechanics after clearing the dungeon. He told us to invite him whenever we needed him and that we were super awesome. Dylan told me, I told you he was cool. He's not like the guys in Nashe's clique. Despite Nashe's telling me that she hated cliques and didn't want us to be a clique. It turned out she had a clique. I learned she and 4 of 6 of her officers were in a very specific team of their own. Dylan and Doable Sandman were the only officers that were not part of the group. Soon, some days after this, an announcement was made. Raiding will begin soon, Nashes declared, and asked us to send her an in-game mail, to make it official, if we wanted to raid and state at least 2 specs that we were willing to play, a main spec and a secondary spec. I chose tank main, DPS off spec, like a gangster. She explained the loot rules. Master looter with a DKP system. Oh, sweet Jesus. We're doing DKP? What year was Rift? No way. Rift release date. When was it? Oh, if you're not sure what a clique is, C-L-I-Q-U-E. A clique is a group of friends or players that is almost impossible to penetrate inside them. They do everything together. If they're doing PvP, they're doing it together. They're doing dungeons, they're doing it together. And they don't even... You'll never see them ask for extras. They will only play together. That's a clique. She explained the loot rules. Master looter with DKP, 2011. Okay, that's DKP era. And on-spec priority, main spec over off-spec. Okay, simple stuff. After the roster was decided and the loot rules explained, Nashe sent me a whisper, asking me if we could have a little private chat before the raid. When I asked her what she needed, she said, you have chosen tank as your main spec. I am willing to let you tank under one condition. I asked her, what? I don't have an off-spec. Both my tank and healer are my main specs. Even though the game will only let me play one at a time. If I let you tank, I'm forced to go in as a healer. But that doesn't mean that I won't be entitled to tank gear as if I was a main tank. I'm just letting you know because I would hate it if you were to make a scene if you lose a tank piece of gear against me. Do we have an understanding? But that goes against your own rules. I know. That's why I'm asking if you agree. If you don't agree, I'll come as tank and you can play DPS. And I'm still going to roll on both tank and healer gear as if I was playing both. It's important, as guild leader, that I should be ready to fulfill both those important raid roles. I'm sure you do understand. I thought, you're not getting me in this trap. I said you should actually talk to the rest of the guild on comms about this. No, I don't think so. That will cause them confusion. That is why I wanted to discuss it in private. You see, you've been a guild leader before. You understand the sacrifices we have to make sometimes. The rest of them, well, they probably just wouldn't understand. No, I said, let's discuss this with the guild so everyone knows what's going on. So, I decided to tell the guild. Yes. Fuck you, I'll tell them. Guys, so Nashe's just told me that the loot rules that she laid out only apply to us, not to her. She told me that if I raid as a tank, she's still going to be rolling on all the tank gear as if she was playing a tank. And since I said no, she's coming as tank and making me come as DPS. And then she's going to roll on both tank and healer gear as if she was also the healer. Well, my guys in the handies did what they do best and raised their fucking hands high and clear and objected to this. The healers also told her to go fuck herself. They were all fine with main spec versus off spec. Nashe's shockingly denied everything. So I just screenshotted it and pasted it. That's out of context. I thought you would understand what I meant, but you've misunderstood what I meant. Nobody was fooled. It's like if Nashe's was going to decide who gets what, then they were refusing to raid with Master Looter on at all. Nashe said that allowing everyone to openly roll on anything for their class doesn't work with DKP. And people said it didn't matter because she can't be trusted with the loot. And they had no doubt she would prioritize her own clique and herself over the rest of the guild. One of Nashe's officers and her lapdogs would always jump to her defense immediately. Mate, you guys is just misunderstanding. Nashe isn't biased like at all. You know what I mean? You guys will be fine. But the guild asked that if she didn't plan to do whatever she wanted with the loot, why didn't the loot rules apply to her then? Surely if they just applied to her, everything would have been fine. Nashe's agreed then, under the protests of the remainder of the guild, to agree to run without Master Looter, but said we would regret it once people start getting nothing. Following this conversation and this little upheaval, Nashe's announced the raid would begin on Wednesday at 6 p.m. and asked us to be on time, no tardiness. Wednesday rocks up. I'm online since 5:30 p.m. At 5:50, Nashe says invites are going out. However, some of my dudes weren't online yet, and some others were still trying to have some gear crafted for themselves or trying to get some consumables. The usual dog shit that lazy bastards do just 5 minutes before the raid. That's from me, not what the author said. It wasn't until 6:15 p.m. that everyone was ready. So Nashe's asked us to get on comms, and after we did, she announced that the raid was now cancelled. Okay. Why? We're all here. We're literally here. Everybody's here. We're on comms. What's going on? You were late. When I say the raid begins 6 p.m., what I'm saying is that we pull at 6 p.m. Not that you should start getting ready or prepared at that time. You should be ready by that time. If you cannot respect people's time, you are simply not going to raid. If you cannot be prepared the day before, then you're not going to raid. And if this happens again, you will never raid. Nashe's kept on going about people being late and threatened to cancel raiding altogether if people were late again. The people who were late apologized but asked, why are we canceling the whole raid? Because of 15 minutes? Oh, dear boy, dear boy. Because you don't deserve to raid if you cannot be on time. We will try again tomorrow, and perhaps then you will be better prepared. Now, to be clear, you shouldn't be late for your raids if you can avoid it. If unless an emergency comes up and you haven't let someone know, be on time for your raids. Respect 19 other people's time, or 24 other people's time, or 7 other people's time. Be respectful. Don't be late for your raids if it's avoidable. That's one of my pet peeves. I've lost good friends over it in the past. They've been benched, even though they're incredible players, because they simply were always late, despite the fact they fucking lived there. Like, such a twat. My guys were upset and thought this was ridiculous. Especially because this was the very first day. Not everything would go smoothly, of course, and frankly, we were all super excited to finally get to raid. I told them I understood how they felt, but asked them to just be ready like 10 minutes earlier, or get ready as if we were raiding now. Whatever, just get ready and be online. The next day came. All of my dudes were online and ready at 5:30, and we were just waiting for the invites to go out, shooting the shit and being chill. I kept checking the guild roster to make sure that all of my guys weren't inside a dungeon or doing PvP at 5:50. I was expecting the invites, so I decided to check the guild roster one more time. And there I noticed that Nashe's and her little clique had just entered a dungeon. Now, an expert dungeon in Rift usually takes 35 to 40 minutes. So there was no way they could finish it in 10 minutes. Well, obviously the guild chat starts to ask, woohoo, one invite? Hello, woohoo. Nashe's didn't reply. I told Payfish that Nashe's had just gone in a dungeon at 5:50. At 6:05, Payfish said, so I thought we were supposed to be inside the raid by 6. What's going on? Where's the invites? No reply from Nashe's. 6:25 p.m. A message from Nashe's. Invites are going out soon. Everyone be ready. Payfish at the end of his fucking rope. Oh, just like that, is it? If we're 15 minutes late, it's wrong and we cancel the whole raid and waste everybody's time. But if you're 25 minutes late, it's all good and the raid is still on. Nashe said that they were doing a dungeon and it took longer than they expected. To which I wasn't having any of that. You started that dungeon at 5:50. I checked the time. There is no way you thought you could finish that dungeon in 10 minutes. Payfish dropped in again. Did you decide to be late today just to spite us for being late yesterday? And then, of course, the lapdogs jump in. Guys, we didn't check the clock when we started the dungeon. We thought we had more time. Nashe's wouldn't be late just to be mean. And everyone in the guild started getting mad and calling Nashe's a hypocrite for scolding them while being late herself. And she replied, well, maybe now you understand how frustrating it is when people are late. Payfish got really, really angry. And so you're indeed late on purpose. How fucking petty and disgusting. No. But you think I was, and it looks like I'm not going to change your mind. Anyway, put down your bones, little dogs. Invites go out soon. Unless, of course, you don't want to raid today either. We'll raid. We're not as petty as to cancel a whole raid day just because someone was late. Shockingly, the raid was fucking awful. We knew nothing about it. Some people like BC weren't even ready for it. Hanas tried to help out by calling out mechanics that he was noticing and got nothing but sarcastic and passive-aggressive comments in return from Nashe's friends. After a couple of hours of wiping on the first boss, I have no context for how hard a Rift boss is, but still, we called it a day. Afterwards, Dylan sent me a whisper saying they were late on purpose. When I asked her how she knew about it, she said that they were using officer chat to talk when she sent me a screenshot as proof. In the screenshot, they decided to go into the dungeon at exactly 5:48 p.m. Dylan said, guys, the raid starts soon. You're not going to finish in time and people are going to be pissed, especially after what you told them yesterday. When Nashe's cousin replied, fuck them. They made us wait yesterday. We make them wait today. Besides, this is Nashe's guild, not theirs. She also showed me the screenshots of the officer chat during the raid, where they kept talking shit about Hanats for calling out mechanics and about BC for being crap. I talked to my guys about this and they were all upset and said, we're not feeties. We are handies. We should return to the handies. I agreed, but wanted to check with everyone first. Some days later, Dylan got on comms with me and sent me another screenshot of a discussion that she had had with Nashe's. In the discussions, Nashe's had said, sweet, sweet Dylan. Dylan, I've noticed you and Double Sandman have been spending an awful lot of time with Lodge and his friends. Is there something I should know about? No? Why? I'm just wondering why you are hanging out with those people. Dylan was confused and asked, well, what's wrong with hanging out with people in our guild? They're not feeties material. They're outsiders. But if you consider them outsiders, why did you invite them to the guild? I needed raiders. And some of Lodge's members refused to join us when I tried to persuade them to leave his guild. They might be here now, but they aren't loyal to me. Their loyalty still lies with Lodge. Sometimes this feels more like his guild than mine. And once I get more raiders, I'll remove all of the disloyal ones. I just want to know if you are with me or with them. After this, Dylan started to cry and told me to read the last message Nashe sent her, where she said, I know you think I hurt you. Maybe I shouldn't have said what I said, but remember, Dylan, it's not a good enough reason to betray me. I asked Dylan what she was talking about, and Dylan told me that she used to be close to Nashe's and told her something personal about the passing of a person close to her. Nashe had used the death of this person to upset Dylan in an argument. She always reminds me of what she said. She's the worst. I told Dylan that I'd spoken to my guys and we were ixnay. We're out of there. But I needed confirmation for everybody. Dylan warned me, don't discuss it with BC or Hanats. I asked her why. She said, Nashe's and his clique might talk shit about them, but they need raiders. Nashe said that she found out that neither of them are very close to you, so they're trying to bring them to her side. Nashe's promised BC first dibs on healer gear from the raid. I told her that Hanats and BC were pretty shit, so she could keep... Thanks for the website support, by the way. Namaste. BC was total dog with a bad temper, and Hanats was afraid of fucking Facebook. And he also had revealed recently, oh my god, I'm not making this up, I swear to god this is not an ad lib. Hanats had revealed recently that one of his greatest terrors was Clippy, the Windows paperclip. Well, there it is. There's no other way. There's not even a joke for me to make there. That's just the thing that somebody's afraid of. Dylan said that if we were to leave, she and Double Sandman would join us. Sometime after this, I received word of all the guys who had agreed to return home to the Handies. All but 3 of them are coming back. 2 of them being BC and Hanats because we didn't ask them. And the other was an old member named because he found switching guilds to be a fucking pain in the ass and he didn't understand what was going on. That's me. Again? I can't be arsed. I can't be fucking bothered, dude. I can't be bothered. Whatever. No, fucking leave me alone. I'm playing. I gave the news to Dylan about leaving, but she didn't want us to just leave. She wanted to expose. She wanted an explosion. She wanted to reveal Nashes and also to create so much drama in the guild to make some of the other members leave of their own accord. So we waited until the next Wednesday. Raid time, 5:50 p.m. on the nose. Nashes announced that raid invites were going out and we all declined them. That's really clever. That's actually really clever. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. I like that move. Just everybody keeps declining. That's actually a really smart move. I don't think I've seen that move used in any drama time we've ever had. That's kind of baller. Is there something going on? Why are you all declining my invites? You do want to raid, don't you? I had been elected as the voice, as the returning leader of the Handies. I don't know. Why should we raid and help you get gear if you're going to kick us all out anyway? Nashes, of course, claimed that she didn't know what I was talking about. She had no plans of removing anyone from the guild. To when Dylan supported us. I showed them a screenshot of our little chat where you admitted that you're only using them and plan on kicking them out once you replace them. I also showed them the one where you talk shit about BC and Hanat's callouts. Nashes said that conversation was meant to be private. So I joined in. Oh, so it's okay. You weren't going to give us any gear, were you? You were going to prioritize the people who were loyal to you, like that group of little bitches that are always following you around. Oh, Lodge. This is why I didn't want to let you into the feeties. You came here as a clique and tried to take over. No one ever tried to take over your guild. She withdrew from it on her own and hid with her other friends. We had every intention to be part of her guild, but she was always hostile, always trying to monopolize loot, abusing her authority. Then my guy started to bring up all the problems that happened since we had joined and how her little team of friends were the only ones that didn't want to play ball with the rest of us. And when they did, Nashes immediately started to make everything else as tense as possible. I told her that I knew she and her little friends had been late on purpose during the raid day, and their response to it was, fuck them. Okay. Fine. You've had your little bark. Enough. Remember, you're breaking rule number 1. No drama allowed. And this is drama. So, I'm putting a stop to this. Everything has been a little misunderstanding. You've been tricked. Manipulated. Okay, Nashes, everything's always a misunderstanding, isn't it? Everyone is stupid except you. And like always, her friends had to step in to defend her. That's not what she's saying. Nashes isn't like that. You got her all wrong. Please shut the fuck up, I said. I don't want to hear what stupid people have to say. You're nothing but lapdogs. Why don't you grow some balls? Nashes, of course, threatened to kick us out for insulting her officer team. By the way, you were talking about us being tricked. You want to see the trick? Now you see us, and we started leaving the guild. After we left, Big Jimmy switched to his alt, who had been made guild master of the Handies, and we brought the Handies back home. Nashes was not expecting Dylan and Double Sandman to leave her as well, who were some of her best geared and most experienced members. I considered that trading BC and Hanats for Dylan and Double Sandman had been a good deal. And after we left, some of her other members also left because they realized this place probably is not a great place to be. Once we got the Handies up and running, we received a message from the member who refused to follow us into Nashes guild. Hey, you guys get the Handies going again? Can me and my wife join? Sure, welcome back. He asked us what happened, and I gave him a TLDR, the whole thing. Yeah, I don't like guild drama either. But Nashes and her guys were the ones who left. She's nothing but a pain in the ass. We also received messages from max level player from one of our older guilds asking if they had room for 3 raiders. I had no idea who they were, but apparently they knew me from the old days and wanted to raid. After a couple of weeks, I fucking started to realize amongst all this drama, Rift wasn't very good. Once the smoke cleared, once like the fog disappeared, like, wait a minute, this game isn't even good. What the fuck? I experienced so much shit in just a few weeks in Rift than I ever had in FF11 and WoW combined. I told Jimmy, I'm out, man. This isn't even worth it. This game isn't good enough to warrant my time. They tried to persuade me to stay because we had people, we had friendships. It was going to be good. I pointed out the game just wasn't fun. They promised that they would keep the guild with the same vision I had and they would become some of the best raiders in the game. I laughed about it and wished them good luck and that they could still contact me on the good book, assuming I wasn't a serial killer, of course. 7 months later, they sent me screenshots and videos of them clearing the raids in the game. The bastards actually did it. I don't know if I'm more proud of helping create a very good guild with very nice people or for destroying Nashe's guild. If you read this far, Preacher, let me thank you, and I hope you all enjoyed my little tale. Oh, we did. Didn't we? We enjoyed it very, very much. We did. Ladies and gentlemen, that does bring us to the end of drama time for this week. Monday, we will let you know what is happening. No stream on Monday. There is no stream on Monday. Hopefully, we'll let you guys know what is going on. It'll be like 7, 8 p.m. UK time. It's currently like 5 p.m., so you'll have to wait and see, I'm afraid. But it should be good, all right? It should be good. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being amazing. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say next week. And goodbye and good night. I'll see you later.